Hi there. I want to explain hypnosis and hypnotherapy using a simple metaphor. I'd like you to imagine a filing cabinet, and this filing cabinet is packed with hundreds, maybe thousands of documents, pieces of paper. That filing cabinet represents what we call the unconscious mind, or at least it's part of what we call the unconscious mind. As for the pieces of paper, they represent our thoughts, our ideas, our beliefs that we have about ourselves, about other people, about the world in general. And I'm going to use the example of John, because you see, John, in his filing cabinet, has got a piece of paper that's got written on it in big, bold capital letters, "I'm not good enough." So in other words, he has this belief that he's not good enough. And this belief is going to impact his confidence, his self-esteem, his self-assurance, his behaviours, his happiness, and maybe even his health. So, first of all, where did that piece of paper come from? Well, when John was born, that piece of paper didn't exist. These negative beliefs tend to be filed away in our metaphorical filing cabinet, typically between the age of about 3 and 8. Some things can go in there before the age of 3, sometimes things can go in there after the age of 8, but it's usually in that sort of time frame between the age of about 3 and 8. And in the vast majority of cases, it can usually be something quite trivial. So in John's case, it might have been that he was at school as a 5-year-old, and he was asked by the teacher, every child in the class was asked to draw a picture of a lemon, let's say. And John misheard, and he thought the teacher said lemming. And he'd seen a programme on the television only a day or two earlier where there was a lemming on this TV programme. And John drew a picture of a lemming, and a very good picture it was too, a very good drawing it was too for a 5-year-old. But of course the teacher sees it and says, "No, that's not what I asked you to draw. I asked you to draw a lemon." So that makes John, the young 5-year-old John, feel a little bit unsure about himself. Oh, maybe I need to listen a little bit better. Maybe there's something not quite right with me. Maybe I'm not good enough in some way or another. Maybe the other children in the class are smarter than me because everyone else drew a lemon. So that belief goes into his filing cabinet. Now at this stage, the writing, the letters are probably very small. But of course, as John goes through life, through the rest of school and maybe on to college perhaps, and then eventually going on to do work, he will have many times when he's tested in some way, whether it's school exams, or an interview to go to college or university, and later on job interviews and things like that. And we all have these things we have to go through to get to where we want to in life, and it's very, very rare for someone to go through all of these sort of tests with flying colours. We always fall short to some degree. And once that belief's in there that I'm not good enough, even though at this stage it's very small in John's case, every time he gets only 8 out of 10 for a test, or gets a grade B instead of an A in an exam, or goes for a job interview and doesn't get the job, that reinforces that belief that he's not good enough, and the writing gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So now, as I say, he's a grown-up, he's an adult, and he's got this belief that's really going to hold him back in life in a big way, that he's not good enough. Now, how do we help John? Well, one approach could be to use the idea of positive suggestions and affirmations and that kind of thing, where you help John to put new pieces of paper into his filing cabinet that say, "I am good enough." And that approach can actually work extremely well. The problem is, if the piece of paper that says "I'm not good enough" is still there, eventually that will kind of rear its ugly head again, and it can be almost back to square one. The best approach, in my opinion, in my 23 years experience of being a hypnotherapy practitioner, the best approach is to find that piece of paper and remove it. And it's actually quite quick and easy to do that in the vast majority of cases. Sometimes it can be a little bit more challenging, but you can always do it eventually. But with most people, it can usually be done in 1 or 2 sessions of hypnotherapy. And then you can put the positive suggestions in. I am good enough, I am worthy, I am deserving, etc., etc. And then John's life changes, very much for the better. Now, there is a catch. It's not a particularly big catch, but there is a catch, and the catch is the guard dog that you have to get past to get to the filing cabinet. And this is where hypnosis comes in. Hypnosis is a mechanism for getting round or getting past the guard dog so you can get access to the filing cabinet. And there are different ways of doing this, and one way could be to pet the dog, stroke the dog. Get the dog nice and calm, nice and relaxed, and of course while the dog's nice and relaxed, you can access the filing cabinet. Another approach could be to confuse the dog. So get 6, 7, maybe 8 of its favourite toys, scatter them all over the place, and while the dog's running around and trying to decide which toy to play with, you've got access to the filing cabinet. That's another way of doing hypnosis. Another approach could be to simply distract the dog, get one of its favourite toys or a nice big juicy bone and throw it over there out of the way, and while the dog's gone to get the bone, you've got access to the filing cabinet, and then you can do the work that I've just described. Find the piece of paper and remove it and put some new ones in to replace it. Now, the guard dog actually, not everyone has the same kind of guard dog. Some people their guard dog might be like a Rottweiler, and you have to work quite hard, in some cases very hard, to get past it. It's still possible, but it can be hard working, it can take some time. But what I've found in all my years of practicing hypnotherapy is that in the majority of cases, the guard dog is actually more like a Yorkshire Terrier. And you don't actually have to do an awful lot to get past it. It's usually quite easy to get past the guard dog and then access the filing cabinet and do the work that is required to help the client have a better life, whether it's to overcome an eating disorder or a fear or phobia or social anxiety or performance anxiety or whatever it might be. So this is a metaphor to help you to understand the way that I operate as a therapist, but also it's a very important part of the training course, the diploma course that I teach as well. Anyway, I hope that's helped you to understand a little bit more about hypnosis and hypnotherapy and how and why it works. If you want any more information, if you have any questions, if you want to book a free initial consultation, for example, if you're interested in booking to do our training course or just want more information about our training course, the full diploma course, then please just let me know. So drop me an email at robert@nottinghamcoaching.co.uk. That's robert@nottinghamcoaching.co.uk. Anyway, thank you for listening. I hope you found it useful, and bye for now.